Hello, my name is Mark John Sternal, and you're watching Easy Blues Guitar DVD. In this video, we're going to start out with simple one-finger blues guitar and gradually progress through basic chords and riffs, blues rhythms, and fast solos. Let's take a 6-string open E note and learn how to adjust our amp settings for premium blues guitar tone. The controls on this amp feature 2 channels. In most cases, the first channel is a clean guitar sound. Channel 2 is usually a distorted guitar sound. For this channel, the more gain you use, the heavier the guitar tone will be. This amp features a mid-gain frequency, which we will set at 12 o'clock. The level is the same as volume. Next, we have the EQ or equalizer controlling the low, mid, and high frequencies. Let's put these all at 12 o'clock, which means they are flat, not giving or taking away from the tone. In blues, it is typical to lower the bass a little and slightly boost the mids and highs. Here's the open E, and here's an open E chord. If your amp and guitar combination aren't giving you the tone you desire, you can insert a distortion pedal between your guitar and your amp. Here I'm using my amp set to the clean channel with the blues EQ setting that we just learned. For the distortion, I'm using a Carl Martin Plexitone. I have the boost set just before 10 o'clock. The level control is the same as volume, and you can adjust it to your liking. 11 o'clock would be ideal. Tone is set to 11 o'clock. High gain and crunch are dialed in at 9 o'clock. The use of a distortion pedal allows a lot more tonal possibilities, and it also allows us to easily switch from a clean tone to a dirty rhythm tone. The select button allows me to choose between 2 tones, high gain and crunch. And by engaging the boost, I have a slightly louder lead guitar tone. Next in line, I'm adding a Carl Martin echo tone delay effect. The echo control is set to 11 o'clock, feedback to 1 o'clock, tone is straight up, and time is set to about 2:30. To further enhance your blues guitar sound, you can use a graphic EQ to really dial in your tone. Here is a Carl Martin 3-band parametric preamp. The top settings of controls have level, which control the volume, then bass, mid, and treble. Just like our blues amp setting, I'm cutting the bass to 11 o'clock, middle up to 1 o'clock, and treble between 12 and 1. The bottom set of controls allow us to really fine-tune these frequencies. Starting with the first control to shape the bass, we're dialing it to 1 o'clock. To shape the mids, turn the second control to 2 o'clock. For the highs, we'll cut the last control back halfway between 11 and 12. With the use of these 3 pedals, we are given a very wide variety of blues guitar tones. For a limited time, you could win these effects and more. Visit www.mjspublications.com for details. The key of E dominates guitar and blues music, so let's learn a traditional blues riff in the key of E. This riff starts out on the 5th string open A note. No frets, no fingers. Followed by the 6th string 3rd fret. This is a G note that we play with our index finger, and we end on the 6th string open E. Using the alternate picking technique, I start with a downstroke on the open A, upstroke on G, and downstroke on E. For the rhythm, I'm counting 1 and a 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2, 3, 4. Play A for the 1 count, hold for and, G for the count, and E for counts 2, 3, 4. 1 and a 2, 3, 4. Now let's practice this E rhythm at a slow tempo of 50 beats per minute or 50 BPM. If we move everything down 1 string, we now have an A rhythm, starting with the 4th string open D note, to the 5th string 3rd fret C, and on the 5th string open A. Here's an exercise combining the A and E rhythms. Blues music often repeats between E and A rhythms. When it's time for a change-up, we have a turnaround that starts with a B rhythm. Here, we start with our index finger on the 4th string 2nd fret. This is a higher octave E note. Next is the 4th string open D, and end on the 5th string 2nd fret B note. The turnaround is often followed by the A rhythm, and can end on a double E rhythm. An alternative turnaround has us playing the same B, A, and E rhythm. It ends with a walk-up on the 5th string open A, 1st fret B flat, to end on the 2nd fret B. We've learned several parts that can be used in blues music. Let's put them all together and play our first blues song. If this is too slow for you, visit the practice section located in the main menu. There you will find 3 tempo speeds for every song we learn. The sheet music will change on the screen along with the parts. You can also view the full arrangement in the bonus section of this video. Blues music relies heavily on the pentatonic scale. Since we are playing in the key of E, let's learn the E minor pentatonic scale. Now we'll use 2 fingers to play blues guitar. The E minor pentatonic scale starts on the 6th string open to the 3rd fret played with the middle finger. Next is the 5th string open to the 2nd fret with the index finger. Then the 4th string open to the 2nd fret with the index finger. The notes are named E, G, A, B, D, and a higher octave E note. Each note is held for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the octave E rings out for another 4 beats. In blues music, the scale can be considered the foundation for a song. Each note will complement the next, and it can be used as a melody line for the vocal or for an instrument like the lead guitar. Each scale note can also be used in a song as a chord. Let's take our blues rhythm and add scale notes to create power chords. For the E rhythm, we'll start out on the open 5th string A. By adding the 4th string 2nd fret, we now have an A5 power chord. While holding this chord, strike the 5th and 4th strings together. Next, we are going to play a single G note with the middle finger on the 6th string 3rd fret and end on an E5 power chord. It's a 6th string open with the 5th string 2nd fret. 1 and a 2, 3, 4. 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 Now let's play the E minor pentatonic scale a little faster. Let each note ring out for 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We're also going to add the 3rd string notes, first open, then 2nd fret with the index finger. The 3rd string open is a higher octave G note, and the 3rd string 2nd fret is a higher octave A note. The 3rd string scale notes allow us to add our A rhythm, starting with the 4th string open, D. By adding the 3rd string 2nd fret, we have a D5 power chord. Next is a 5th string 3rd fret C note by itself, and end on the open A5 power chord. Let's combine the A5 and E5 rhythms. We're going to introduce the string bend technique to our fretted scale notes. We're going to start off with an easy bend that only requires minimal effort. For each fretted note, keep pressure on the string while you pull towards the center of the fretboard. You can do this by bending your finger inward, or you can rotate your wrist. Either way, you need to keep pressure on the string, holding it against the fretboard as you bend. A half step on a guitar is equal to 1 fret. So a half step bend would require a lot more finger strength. This is called a quarter step bend or a note smear because you are not required to bend it up to the next note or next fret. Here we will apply the note smear or quarter bend to our blues rhythm. And we'll also mute the end chord. To do this, you have a choice of laying your fretboard hand over the strings to silence them, or you could use your picking hand to silence the strings. We are also using the repeat symbol for the first time, signaling us to repeat the previous measure. Let's complete our open E pentatonic scale by adding the second and first string notes. Starting on the 6th string, we have the open, then 3rd fret with the middle finger. Strings 5, 4, and 3 are open 2 with the index finger. The 2nd string is open, 3rd fret with the middle finger. 1st string is open, 3rd fret with the middle finger. The 2nd string open is a higher octave B note. 3rd fret is D. 1st string open is a higher octave E note. And the 3rd fret gives us another G note. Now we are going to combine scale notes and chords to create rhythm and lead. The first half of our E rhythm is the same. For the lead, we use part of our E minor pentatonic scale, starting on the 5th string open, which is an A note, and walk up to E. A, B, D, E. The timing is a little faster for the lead because we're playing 8th notes. So the count is 1 and 2 and. When we put the two parts together, we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Move everything down for the A rhythm, and for the A lead, start the scale on the 4th string D and walk up to A. That's D, E, G, A. Back to the E rhythm. For the turnaround, play the same B rhythm, and for the lead, we'll start on the 2nd string open B and walk up to G. B, D, E, G. Back to the E rhythm. But for the lead, we'll walk up from the open 6th string low E to the B note. E, G, A, B. Notice how each lead guitar part includes a matching note for each rhythm part. We start with an E rhythm, and for the lead, we walk up to an E. For A, we walk up to an A note. For B, we turn the song around by first walking down to B. Then for the lead, we start on a B and walk up to other notes in the same scale. Quick E rhythm and a walk up to B. The whole progression allows us to make use of the full E minor pentatonic scale. Add vibrato to give your fretted notes more life. While holding a fretted note, rotate your wrist. You can use slow vibrato or fast vibrato. The key is to keep pressure on the note that you're holding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's take all of the two-finger blues sections that we've learned and combine them to make our second blues song. We'll start out with the basic parts and build up to the rhythm and lead with vibrato. Remember, you can access the full sheet music arrangement to each song in the bonus stills section. Also, each song is recorded at slow, medium, and fast speeds. If the version I play for you here is too slow, visit the practice section in the main menu and work up to the medium and fast tempo. Every guitar chord has different variations. We've been using power chords like the E5 chord. Here's an easy two-finger E chord, starting with the first string open, second string open, third string first fret with your index finger or first finger, and fourth string second fret with your second or middle finger. While holding this chord, put your pick above the fourth string and strum down, hitting strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. For a slightly different effect, you could strum up. Make sure not to strike the fifth string. Next, we have a new scale variation, starting with the fourth string, second fret E. Coming out of our new E chord, we can start the scale with our middle finger to the third string open, second fret with the middle finger, then we slide the note up to the fourth fret. The slide technique is achieved by holding a note and sliding it up or down the fretboard, while keeping pressure applied to the string. So we started on the E, 3rd string open, 2nd, slide to 4. This puts the index finger in place to play the 2nd string 3rd fret. Notice this shape is identical to the fingering for the E chord. From there we play the 1st string open, which is E, then end on the 3rd fret. You could keep your middle finger in place on the 3rd string for this. Scale notes complement each other, so if they ring out together, it is acceptable, especially in blues guitar music. Next, we play the scale descending, starting with the 1st string 3, open, 2nd string 3rd fret, to the 3rd string 4, slide down to 2, open, then end on the 4th string 2nd fret E. The notes of the scale variation are the same as the E minor pentatonic that we already learned. E, G, A, B, D, E, G. It's just a different way to play it that is very common in blues guitar. For our new E rhythm, we will start out with the 2-finger E chord. I've kept things simple as far as the strumming pattern is concerned. I'll only be strumming once per measure, but feel free to expand on this. For example, you could strum every 2 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could strum using quarter notes for each beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes dividing each beat into 2 pulses, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or even combinations, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. Again, I'm using the chord as a canvas, letting it ring out for a full measure. Then I use scale notes to paint a picture. We're starting on E and walking up to D with eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. For the A rhythm, we are learning a new 2-finger A chord. This variation is called an A7 chord. The 1st string is open, 2nd string 2nd fret with your 2nd finger, 3rd string is open, 4th string 2nd fret with your 1st finger. For the lead guitar, play E, G, A, slide up to B, and slide back down to A. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. For the turnaround, we are learning a 2-finger B7 chord. This is very similar to the A7, but the fingering is moved down 1 string. Hold the 1st string 2nd fret with your 2nd finger, 2nd string is open, and the 3rd string 2nd fret is played with your 1st finger. In my experience, this fingering is easiest for beginner guitarists. You could switch the fingers if you like, but I've found that beginner players usually have a harder time manipulating their fingers to hold this chord or to change chords this way. Since this is easy blues guitar, I thought I would show you what I felt was the easiest. But the choice is yours. However you hold the B7, when you play the lead section, you need to start with your middle finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. Slide it up to B, play G on the 2nd string 3rd fret, 1st string open E, then back to G on the 2nd string 3rd fret. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. From B, we drop down to the A rhythm, then double up on E. But with a slight variation for the last one. Here, we quickly slide up to the 3rd string 4th fret, followed by the 2nd string 3rd fret, back to the 3rd string 2nd, open, then end on the 4th string 2nd fret E note. Here's the turnaround with a tempo. Now let's put the whole song together. A very important blues guitar technique is the hammer-on. Pick a note and sound the next note by hammering your finger to the desired fret. For this exercise, only pick the open scale notes and hammer the fretted notes. You do not need to pick the hammer-on notes. If you take the 2-finger E chord we just learned, you can move your middle finger up 1 string to create an E7 chord. Here we are strumming all 6 strings. Strings 1 and 2 are open. 3rd string, 1st fret, 1st finger. 4th string is now open. 5th string is the 2nd fret, 2nd finger. And the 6th string is open. For the lead, start with the 6th string open, hammer to 3, 5th string open, hammer to 2, and end on the 4th string open. For the A rhythm, we're adding the 5th string open to our A7 chord. The lead starts on the 5th string open A, hammer to 2, 4th string open, hammer to 2, and ends on the 3rd string open. The turnaround has us play the same B7. Quickly slide the middle finger up to the 3rd string 4, to the 2nd string 3, 1st string open, to the 2nd string open, and hammer to 3. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Back to the A rhythm. Then double up on E. With a slight variation for the end. Quickly slide up to the 3rd string 4, followed by the 2nd string 3, back to the 3rd string 4, slide down to 2, open, then end on the 4th string 2nd fret E note. The opposite of a hammer-on is a pull-off. Start with a fretted note and pull your finger away from the fretboard to sound a lower note. If you just lift your finger, the 2nd note will not sound. You have to pull the finger away from the string at an angle to get the lower note to sound. For this variation of our rhythm, we are adding a hammer pull to the last note of the lead. After the E7, play the 6th string open, hammer to 3, 5th string open, hammer to 2. The hammer pull is on the 4th string. Open, hammer, pull. Only pick the first note, then hammer on, and pull off to sound the rest. The count for the lead is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The A rhythm is very similar. A7, 5th string open, hammer to 2, 4th string open, hammer to 2, hammer pull on the 3rd string, open, 2, open. For the turnaround, I'm going to change things up a bit. You can continue to play the 2-finger B7, but if you're ready for a challenge, here's a slightly different B7 with a very distinct blues sound. Start with your 1st finger on the 4th string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. Only strum strings 5, 4, and 3. For the lead, quickly slide the middle finger up to the 3rd string 4, to the 2nd string 3, then a hammer pull on the 1st string, open, 3, open, to 2nd string 3, and 3rd string 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Repeat the A rhythm. Then E rhythm. And E rhythm again. For the lead, Slide up to the 3rd string 4, followed by the 2nd string 3, back to the 3rd string 4, slide down to 2, pull to open, hammer to 2, pull to open, and on the 4th string, 2nd fret E note. So far, we've been playing open position scales. Let's move up to the 5th string, 7th fret. Play this with your ring finger or your 3rd finger. The next note is on the 4th string, 5th fret, played with the index finger. Up to the 7th fret with the ring, then slide that up to the 9th fret. And on the 3rd string, 7 with the index finger, followed by the 9th fret with the ring finger. call this the $1 million scale because it has made countless guitar players extremely wealthy. These notes are the same: E, G, A, B, D, E. But the way it is played and positioned allow the blues to flow out effortlessly. This scale position alone can be used for a full night of blues music. You can create a variety of guitar solos by introducing the tricks that we've already learned. The hammer-on, the pull-off, the quarter-step bend, vibrato, hammer pulls, pull hammers, and any combination you could think of. Once you have this scale memorized, improvising or making up solos will become second nature to you. Always remember, the nature of the pentatonic scale is that each note will complement the next. There is no wrong combination. You could play the notes in order, out of order, or in patterns. A very simple way to make your solos interesting is to use the question and answer technique. The root note is E. Then we have G, A, B, D, and a higher octave E root note. Listen to what happens when you play a combination of scale notes, but avoid ending on the root note. That was G that we ended on. Let's play it again and end on A. Again and end on B. Since we avoid ending on the root note, it makes the listener want to hear it even more. This is considered a question phrase. To answer the question, play a group of scale notes, but this time end on the root note. Again, a question phrase avoids the root note. And the answer phrase ends on the root note. We are using an E scale, so E is the root note. You can build up tension by using multiple question phrases. You can double up on an answer. Or you can alternate between question and answer phrases. Let's use the scale to write some lead guitar phrases. For the first phrase, we'll play E, G, A, B, back to A, and end on G. That's fret 7, 5, 7, 9, back to 7, then 5. Next, we'll play a similar phrase and end on A. 4th string, 7th fret. For the third phrase, we'll go up to D, then back to B. D is on the 3rd string 7, B is on the 4th string 9. And for the last one, hold on D. Here's a rhythm combining these lead phrases with a blues chord progression. A rhythm, back to E, for the turnaround, use the new B7 chord. First finger on the 4th string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the 3rd string 2nd fret. Try playing each chord, then switch to the lead riff in time with me. If this is too difficult for you, just play the lead parts. After you get comfortable with them, add the chords. We can play the same scale starting on the 6th string 12th fret. Again, we start the scale off with the ring finger to the 5th string 10th fret, index finger, ring finger on the 12, slide to 14, to the 4th string 12, and on 14. The notes are the same as the last scale: E, G, A, B, D, E. So we can play the same lead, it just gives us another location to play in. Here's our rhythm with the 12th fret scale position. For the turnaround, after playing the B rhythm, then the A rhythm, we're going to play E7, followed by a scale run using increments of 3, which means we'll break the scale into patterns of 3, playing E, G, A, G, A, B, A, B, D, B, D, E. Hold the E with vibrato for another full measure. In the last section, I snuck in a 3-finger B7 chord. If you spend enough time with each lesson, you should be able to play this chord with no problem. This is a movable chord that you could play anywhere on the fretboard. It is named by the note your middle finger is on. For example, we know from earlier lessons that the 5th string 2nd fret is a B note. So when we use this chord shape, we have a B7. If we move it up to the 5th string 7th fret, we have an E note. By applying the chord shape, we now have a 3-finger E7 chord. Our most recent scale position taught us that the 5th string 12th fret is another A note. So here we have an A7. Up to the 5th string 14th fret, we have another B note and another B7 variation. Here's a rhythm using our new 3-finger E7, A7, and B7. Along with this rhythm, we're going to introduce the string rake. To achieve this, lightly touch the strings without making contact to the fingerboard. Then pick the strings to produce a muted tone. Coming out of the 3-finger E7, just relax your hand and rake up on the strings, 3, 4, and 5. The count is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Strum the chord on 1, hold for 2, 3, 4, then rake for the and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Switch to A. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. For the turnaround, play B7. A7, E7, then walk up, A7, B flat 7, B7. Here it is with a slow tempo. This time, take the same rhythm, but start 1 fret ahead of each chord. So move the E7 up to the 8th fret, which is an F7 chord, strum, and then slide the chord down 1 fret to E7. This rhythm starts in just before the 1 count. Give yourself a 4 count, 1, 2, 3, 4, then strum on and slide it down for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, up to A, but we start 1 fret higher. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, back down to E, 1 fret higher. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, up to B7. 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and down to A7. 2, 3, 4, and back to E. 2, 3, and the same walk up. Here's one last rhythm before we learn some lead guitar. Start with our open E7 chord, then a 3-finger E7 with a slide. Back to the open E7. Since this chord uses so many open strings, you can let them ring out, giving you time to get your fingers in place for the next chord. To the open A7, move your fingers up to the 13th fret and slide down to the 3-finger A7. Then back to E. The turnaround has a straight B7 on the 14th fret, slide down to A, then E, and then walk up to B7. The 12th fret is the octave of any open string. For example, the 6th string open is E. The 6th string 12th fret is an octave E. The 5th string open is A. The 12th fret is an octave A. The same thing applies to fretted notes. So the open E minor pentatonic scale that we first learned can be duplicated an octave higher on the 6th string 12 to 15, 5th string 12 to 14, 4th string 12, 14, 3rd string 12, 14, 2nd string 12, 15, and 1st string 12, 15. Using the octave scale position, here is a basic lead guitar solo you can play over the rhythm tracks on Blues Song 5. On the 3rd string, bend the 14th fret. This is a full step bend, which means you are bending to match the pitch 2 frets higher. After the bend, bar your index finger across the 12th fret and play the 2nd, then 1st string. This is a classic blues riff that we will use several times. The first time, end on the 2nd string 15th fret with vibrato. The second time the riff is played, add the 2nd string 15, then 12 with vibrato. The third time, play the bend, bar the 12th fret notes, then play the 2nd string 15, 12 to 3rd string 14 with vibrato. And for the ending, play the riff, 3rd string 14, pull to 12, end on 4th string 14. Here's an example mixing a rhythm with our lead guitar part. Keep in mind that you can also play this solo over Blues Song 5 in the practice section of the DVD menu. This next solo is a little more challenging. We'll start out with the classic blues bend on the 3rd string 14th fret to the barred 12th fret on strings 2 and 1. This time, play the 2nd string 15th fret with a bend. Repeat the riff, but after the 15th fret bend, add the 12th fret with vibrato. The riff repeats again, going to the 2nd string 12th fret, and ending on the 3rd string 14. Repeat up to the 1st string 12th fret, then add the 3rd string 14 with a bend, release, pull off to 12, ending on the 4th string 14th fret E. This section of the solo will be played over the E rhythm along with Blues Song 5. When the song changes to A, simply play the 3rd string 14th, pull to 12, then 14 and hold, then repeat. These notes are A, G, A, so they fit well over the A rhythm. When the rhythm switches back to E, play the same classic blues riff, 14 with a bend, 12, 12, to the 2nd string 15 with a bend, repeat up to the 1st string 12th fret, then add the 3rd string 14 with a bend, release, pull off to 12, ending on the 4th string 14. Let's practice this middle section with the tempo. For the B turnaround rhythm, we'll play the classic blues riff, bend the 2nd string 15, and end on the 12th fret B with vibrato. Repeat the blues riff, then a descending scale run, 1st string 15 pull to 12, 2nd string 15, back to 1st string 12. Take the same pattern, starting on the 2nd string scale notes. 15, pull to 12, to 3rd string 14, back to 2nd string 12. Apply the same pattern to the 3rd string scale notes. 14, pull to 12, to 4th string 14, back to 3rd string 12, then 14. Next, there are 4 14th fret bends. Release, pull to 12, and end on the 4th string 14th fret E. Here's the turnaround at a practice tempo. Now let's put all the pieces of the guitar solo together. If you would like more practice playing this solo over chords, visit the practice section in the main menu and play this solo over Blues Song 5. You now have quite a few tools for playing and writing blues guitar. We learned several variations of the E, A, and B chords. The open E pentatonic scale, the open extension, 7th fret position, octave position, you can also learn to play in different keys. For example, if you take the open E scale and move everything up 1 fret, you are playing in the key of F. I'll demonstrate one key change here. To learn other musical keys, visit the stills section on this video. The F minor pentatonic scale starts on the 6th string, frets 1, then 4. 5th string, 1 and 3. On the 4th string, 1 and 3. And 3rd string, 1 and 3. The 2nd string are frets 1 and 4. And 1st string, 1 and 4. The chords in the key of F might be a bit difficult if you're a beginner. The F7 chord requires you to bar your fingers across the 1st fret on all 6 strings. On the 3rd string, use your middle finger for the 2nd fret, and on the 5th string, your ring finger for the 3rd fret. This gives you an F7 chord. For the B flat 7 chord, bar the 1st through 5th strings. With your index finger, play the 2nd string, 3rd fret with your pinky, 4th string, 3rd fret with your ring. The C is a 3-finger 7 chord. You can also add your pinky to the 1st string of this chord. There are other chords for each key, but since this is Easy Blues Guitar DVD, we're only going to stick with the 3 main blues chords for each key. These new bar chords can be difficult, so if you're having trouble playing them, get a copy of Easy Guitar Chords DVD. This DVD will bridge the gap between easy chords like what we've learned and difficult bar chords like the F and B flat. It will also teach you some rhythm patterns and many more chords that you will be able to use as you advance as a guitarist. The chords we have used in Easy Blues are E, A, and B. In music theory, these are also considered the 1, 4, and 5 chord for the key of E. They are derived from the E major scale: E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and octave E. The notes are commonly numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the octave starts over with 1 again. Each note or number can then be made into a chord for the key of E: the 1 chord, 2 chord, 3 chord, 4 chord, 5, 6 chord, and 7 chord. When you change keys, like we did with the key of F, the same numeric value applies. In popular music, the 1, 4, and 5 chords are the most commonly used to create songs. This is especially true for blues music, so that's why we kept our focus primarily on the E, A, and B chords, or the 1, 4, and 5 chords. If you would like to learn more about the other common chords in every musical key, again, I highly recommend you get a copy of Easy Guitar Chords DVD. There are also many chord extensions. In Easy Blues, we learned an E5, an E major, and an E7 extension. There are several other extensions for each chord, like the major 7, E9, suspended chords, and many other variations. If you would like to learn every chord type, get a copy of the book with CD, Guitar Probable Chords. As we have learned, blues music relies heavily on the pentatonic scale. There are many other scales that you can use to enhance your guitar playing. For example, the E major, E minor, E Locrian mode. To learn more about scales, check out our best-selling Total Scales, Techniques, and Applications. This DVD will show you how to play on the entire fretboard of your guitar and teach you all of the tricks and techniques used by the pros to create awesome guitar solos. Or, if you would just like to learn quick, basic scales in one position, check out Easy Guitar Scales DVD. Either one will have you playing a ton of scales. Get Total Scales for complete fretboard mastery, or Easy Scales to learn basic root to octave positions. Both titles teach over 50 different scales. Finally, no guitarist is complete without a good dose of music theory. Easy Blues Guitar DVD teaches you to play blues and uses on-screen guitar tab, but it does so by keeping things very simple. If you would like to understand more about musical notes and how they interact with each other, then we highly recommend Easy Guitar Theory DVD. This will give you a world of insight into understanding, reading, and writing music and how it is applied to the guitar. Also, many of our titles are available for bass guitar, so if you are starting a band or jamming with other musicians, you can make amazing progress by using our bass and guitar titles together. I'm Mark John Sternal, and thanks for hanging out with me to learn Easy Blues Guitar.